Hi, welcome to the Bio and AD Tutoring Center videos. Today we're just going to do a brief overview of photosynthesis so we get the big picture before we go in and dissect the smaller parts and processes. So the overall reaction of photosynthesis, we take 6 carbon dioxide molecules, 12 waters, and light energy from the sun, and we use it and we generate 1 glucose molecule or sugar, 6 oxygen molecules, and 6 water molecules. And there's a couple things I want you to notice about this. First is that because we input 12 waters and then get 6 waters out, the net reaction is actually going to be 6 waters, because if you use 12 and make 6, then you really only had to input 6. And the other thing is that this is the exact opposite as cellular respiration almost. In cellular respiration, we use 6 oxygens, glucose, and we have water and CO2 as a byproduct, and we create energy in the form of ATP. The energy form's different, but it's still the same general process. And so some other things about photosynthesis is previously scientists thought that the oxygen molecule that was a byproduct came from carbon dioxide splitting. What they later found out that it actually comes from water. So in the very beginning of photosynthesis, water gets split and they take the electrons from water, and then we give off some just protons, H+ ions, and that's where the O2 comes from. It's water splitting. So keep that in mind. We'll go more into that in the light reactions. And then the other things about photosynthesis is it happens in the chloroplast, which you should probably have figured out by now. It's just an organelle that's only found in plant cells. And then the purpose, always keep the purpose of these processes in mind. And the big purpose of photosynthesis is just to use light energy from the sun to create sugar molecules, to store that energy in these chemicals to be used later. So there's 2 main steps or processes in photosynthesis. There was 3 in cellular respiration, but just 2 here. The first is the light reactions, and the second is the Calvin cycle. The light reactions are called the light reactions because they require light energy. The Calvin cycles don't, so sometimes they're called the dark reactions as well, but they're more commonly referred to as Calvin cycle. So in the light reactions, they take place in the thylakoid, and a lot of the important proteins and enzymes that are involved in the light reactions are actually membrane proteins of the thylakoid membrane. But the purpose of the light reactions is just to use light energy from the sun and use it to create NADPH and ATP. So it basically just stores that energy into these molecules, and these molecules are going to be used later. So 2 important molecules that we need to talk about really fast. The first is NADPH. NADPH is the reduced form of NADP+. And NADP+ is very similar to NAD+ that we've been talking a lot about in cellular respiration. The only difference is it just has an extra phosphate. And so they're just both coenzymes, and it's just going to be an electron carrier. So it's going to steal some electrons and become reduced. And then ATP, in cellular respiration, we talked about 2 ways we can make ATP, either by substrate level phosphorylation or by oxidative phosphorylation. In the light reactions, when we make ATP, it's not by either of those ways. It's by this other process that we call photophosphorylation. And pretty much all it's saying is that we're going to use light energy to create ATP. So just make sure you understand that that's all it means. It's not that scary or complicated, but that's the process, photophosphorylation. Then the second process in the photosynthesis is called the Calvin cycle. The Calvin cycle takes place in the stroma, so that's the kind of middle interior part of the chloroplast. And what it does, the whole purpose is it just uses the NADPH and ATP, the energy that's been stored in those molecules, as well as CO2 to create sugars. So what happens is carbon fixation, so we take some molecules and we add carbon to them in the form of CO2, and then we get some energy from both NADPH and ATP, and we're just creating sugars. So this is kind of a drawing of the overall process, if it helps. Again, this is the thylakoid or granum when it's all together, and light comes in and we use H2O, and O2 is a byproduct, and then from these light reactions we generate NADPH and ATP for the Calvin cycle, and the Calvin cycle uses CO2 and these products to make sugar, and then it also regenerates NADP plus and ADP and phosphates so that the light reactions can use it again. That's all for today. In other videos you can watch, we go more into the light reactions, the Kelvin cycle, and even just light itself and how it can be used to generate energy. I hope this video was helpful, and thank you for watching.